As Ye Sow brings back a former victim of the Crypt, this time behind the camera. Directed by Kyle MacLachlan, written by Ron Finley, and shot by John R. Leonetti, based on a story from Shock Suspense Stories number 14, drawn by George Evans. Get your affairs in order, you don't want to get caught with this tale at the wrong time. Leo watches footage of his wife, Bridget, taken by a private investigator he hired. He knows she's fooling around behind his back, but the tapes reveal nothing. The PI gives Leo some marriage advice. Leo's having none of it. He is going to hire someone else to find what Bridget is up to. Leo goes to G.G. DeVoe, who gives his sales pitch.
In my substantial experience, a man or woman's suspicions about their other half are invariably correct. Things betray. A mouth that hesitates to answer a question. A shoulder that cringes to the touch. Eyes that have to look away.
DeVoe wins Leo over and learns about his suspicions.
Mr. Byrne, when did you first suspect your wife was having an affair?
A couple of months ago. You know, when she stopped
Having conjugal relations with you.
At home, Bridget catches Leo going through her underwear drawer and rejects his advances for intimacy. Laird spies on his wife, Nora, embracing another man. Ready with his gun, Laird rushes to kill his wife's lover, but the two have already gone inside, and the door is locked. He rings the doorbells of the apartment building, hoping someone will buzz him in. The door opens. He needs to find Nora and this mystery man. But how can he find out which apartment they're in? A woman comes out, asking if he rang her bell. Someone has seen him. He can't go through with his plan. Returning to his car, Laird is regretful over finding out about Nora's affair. Leo returns to DeVoe for an update. The new photos don't show anything different from the last investigator. DeVoe implores Leo to take another look.
Take a look at the last two again. Carefully.
So what's this? So she's happier coming out than when she went in. Big deal. I mean, she's been spiritually uplifted. What are you laughing at?
I'm sorry, Mr. Byrne, but what young woman in this day and age goes to Mass every day?
Bridget is two-timing Leo with a Catholic priest, Father John Sajak, who has a sketchy past. Leo rushes to the church and meets Father Sajak face to face, posing as a family man who just moved into the neighborhood. The father's views take Leo by surprise.
Roll that back a minute. What issues?
Well, premarital sex, marital infidelity, contraception, abortion, divorce, you know, that sort of thing.
Yeah, when I grew up, that kind of shit, that stuff, was immoral, pure and simple. It's not in your book?
Well, Mr. Leone, it's my opinion that the church has to acknowledge contemporary values and problems, or else it ceases to be of any value to the people.
The father must tend to a confession. Leo spots the clergyman with his wife. He believes he has found his man. His imagination runs wild. Laird sits at home, drink in hand, ruminating in the quiet. He reminisces about the early days of his relationship with Nora. It felt like a fairy tale, until after the marriage. She grew distant, bored, angry, sick of their old friends, and refusing to tie herself down with children. She finally meets a new friend, Helen. Night after night, Nora waited by the phone for Helen to call. She would visit her friend often. Then one day, Helen fell ill, and Nora spent hours with her at a time. The phone would ring, but nobody would answer when Laird picked up. Until Helen really calls. She talks to Laird. She hasn't seen Nora for a very long time, and hasn't been sick at all. Laird follows Nora, catching her with another man. He stalks the two of them night after night, but he can never see the man's face. Nora comes home. Unable to contain himself, Laird tells Nora he knows she's lying. He's followed her. He will kill her lover. Nora laughs. Laird doesn't have it in him. She packs her belongings and heads for the train station. Laird's window of opportunity is closing. Leo meets with DeVoe once again. He still loves Bridget and knows he can save his marriage if he can get rid of Father Sajak. He wants the priest dead and wants Bridget to see it happen. DeVoe can arrange this for $100,000 in advance. All he needs Leo to do in the meantime is go about his life as normal, and someday soon it will be done. Laird wants to kill the man who ruined his life, but he can't go through with it. Laird drowns his sorrows at a bar, where a kind stranger tells him where he can hire someone more capable of taking care of this ugly business. Laird is interested. He seeks out this surely legitimate business. Laird gives a photo of Nora. He does not want her harmed, only the man she meets. The man Laird has no idea what he looks like. Their best hitman will be put on the case. Nora will be followed. Her secret lover will be killed. Laird has nothing to worry about. Leo leaves his hitman payment at the agreed upon location. Not wanting to miss the action, he stakes out in front of the church. Things aren't good at home. Leo continues his church stakeouts. The deed still isn't done. He drives off to confront Bridget. Unable to go through with his anger, he goes back to DeVoe. But DeVoe is packed up and gone. So is the money. Waiting at home in the dark, Laird imagines the worst when Nora comes through the door. She realized how wrong she was. Laird is who she really loves, and only Laird. The two kiss. Everything is back to normal until Laird sees the hitman enter the door, a gun aimed right at him. He's too late to call the whole thing off. The man Nora is meeting is dead. Leo returns to the church. He hides in the confessional booth with his knife. He hears a familiar voice begin her confession. Posing as a priest, Leo hears his wife's sins.
I wanted to tell him, Father, so many times, but I was afraid he wouldn't understand. You see, my mother died giving birth, and I'm so afraid it would happen to me if ever I got pregnant. I just...
Wait a minute.
Leo is relieved and lets himself be known to Bridget. Their spark has been reignited, but not for long.
I'm no priest. I'm the guy who hired you. And I don't need you anymore. You're...
Bridget cries over Leo's body as Father Sajak blesses him. As Ye Sow, as a story, is very straightforward. Man believes wife is cheating, patches things up, tragedy of mistaken identity happens. A premise livened up by the TV show's seasoned actors. If a director casts their film right, half their job is done for them. I don't know how much input the directors of The Crypt had on casting, but Kyle MacLachlan was in great hands. Adam West and Sam Waterston may spend their screen time behind a desk, but these two always work at the top of their game. You can't take your eyes off either of them, especially Waterston as the sleazy DeVoe. But neither character works without Leo. I'm not familiar with Hector Elizondo, but his sense of urgency kept me engaged, even when I started feeling where things were going. The only cast member that may have been shortchanged is Patsy Kensit as Bridget. Switching out her affair from the comic into a secret for a last-minute reveal naturally makes her character more reserved from the audience. Finally, I simply cannot forget MacLachlan's Twin Peaks co-star Miguel Ferrer as the uncredited hitman. We know how stories work. We know the wife will end up not having an affair, but those with knowledge of the source material might not be as positive of the outcome. Regardless if the affair is real or imagined, our protagonist should have known what he was getting into when hiring a hitman. After all, as ye sow, so you reap.
In your ear, Father.